Hey, welcome back to the garage. Some of you may know I have been a corporate photographer for a construction company for the last 8 years. And today we're going to go over some things I've learned along the way, some advice I would give to someone that's thinking about making the jump from freelance to working in-house, and maybe some things, that'll make your life a little easier in making that transition. But first, if you're new here, my name is Adam. This is my YouTube channel, Adam Has a Camera, where I make videos of me walking around taking photos and talking about photography for 20 people to watch. So thanks for being here. Let's get into this one. First thing, do the job. Being a corporate photographer isn't always glamorous. Sometimes you are taking photos of things that are not creative, that are not necessarily beautiful, but it is your job to deliver the best possible photograph that you can given the situation that you are put in. Now remember, you will be put in this situation by people that are not necessarily photographers. You'll be put in this situation by people that don't understand the limitations that they're putting on you, but it's your job to take all of that in and execute and deliver to them what they're asking of you. All right, piece of advice number 2, be nice. Look, I photograph hard blue collar men I photograph gritty men and women for a living that work construction, that aren't necessarily excited to see me every time I show up. I add a wrinkle into their day that even if they're expecting, they're not necessarily excited about. Put it that way. But what I've learned is if you come in there with positive energy and you show up excited to be there and share that with them and talk to people, one of the biggest things I've seen people that I've worked with mess up or mistakes that they've made is just not talking to people. Showing up and being reclusive, showing up and, just acting like you're alone out there. And I can see this in other industries that you would work in. I think the better relationship you have with the people that you're trying to photograph or the environment that you're trying to photograph, the more familiar you are with it, the more positively you go into this, the better your photos are going to be. And I have seen that with, me showing up to these construction sites. Like I said, they don't necessarily want to see me. But the more I've talked to these guys and gals and the more I've broken down that barrier of me just being the photo guy that's there to get them in trouble and, tried to connect with them, the better my photographs turn out. The more willing they are to help me out when I need help, when I need them to stage something, as much as I try not to do that, or kind of redo something so that I can actually get the photo that maybe I missed or whatever. The better relationships you build, the more you talk to these people, the more positive energy that you bring, the better chance you have of them also wanting to help you out, which in the end makes your photos better, which makes you look better at your job, which makes you, deliver the results that you should be delivering. And, it's better for everyone in the long run. The next piece of advice I can give is be adaptive. Things are going to change. No matter how much pre-planning you do, no matter how much you think you've scouted and, the people that you're going to be working with, things are going to change. And you as the photographer need to be adaptive enough to deliver the results that are being expected of you by the people that you're working for, to figure it out. Go with the flow. Be confident. Make sure you're getting what you need to be getting. Make sure the photographs you're getting are the best that you possibly can. But understand that things are going to change, especially in, my industry. I'm photographing outside on construction sites. 9 times out of 10, it's like 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's either super early in the morning when they don't want me there because they're still trying to figure shit out. And then they tell me show up at 10. And then by the time concrete shows up, because concrete's always late, it's, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. And I'm shooting in direct overhead, brutal sunlight. So have some things in your tool belt, have some safe shots that you need to get, and just understand that part of this job is problem solving. It's not just taking pretty photos. It's not having control over everything that you possibly can. At least from my experience. Now, if you're a corporate photographer and 99% of what you're doing is in a studio where you can control everything, this video is probably not for you. This video is for someone who's out in the field, running and gunning, that type of thing. Be adaptive. Understand things aren't going to go to plan. Chill out. Figure it out. You'll be fine. I promise whatever you shoot is going to be sufficient. Cross your T's, dot your I's, you'll be good. Okay, not to contradict myself, but try to be prepared. One of the things I've learned as I've shot construction, which a lot of times is the same thing over and over again, is that as long as you have shots that you have planned to get and you get those, it frees you up to do whatever you want for the rest of the time you're there. Know that if you're shooting architecture, so for me, I shoot a lot of completed buildings that we've built. Know the angles that you need to get, know where the sun's going to be so that your hero shot can be as good as it can be. And then from then on, you're free balling, dude. You can shoot whatever you want, be freed up knowing that you've shot the things that mattered. So perfect example, I live in York, Pennsylvania. Friday, I had to go shoot a building that we built in just outside of State College, so 2.5 hours from me. And they wanted sunrise photos. So I got up at 3 a.m, got my shit together, headed to the office to get in the work truck and head up the road. And I got pulled over at 3:15 in the morning for my license plate lights being out. The back of my head the whole time is I need to be there by sunrise. And this cop is, messing that up for me. Now, granted, it was my fault, whatever. But I knew that I had a 20-minute window of the sun coming up over the mountains out there, that the main corner of that building with all of the beautiful architecture would be backlit with the sun coming up. And that was when I needed to be there. So I had a plan. I knew as soon as I got there, drones in the air. Like, I probably hardly had the truck in park by the time I was turning the drone on, you know what I mean? To knock these shots out, because I knew that's what I had to get. I knew that's what I had to come back with. And as long as I did that, I'd be good. So luckily I was fine. I didn't get the beautiful sunrise, but to be fair, we had a kind of crappy sunrise that morning anyway. There were no clouds in the sky. So I got the sun peeking up over the mountains and over the building, and I was good to go. Flew the drone through the wide angle on the camera, shot some exteriors, and then I went inside after that. So have your plan. Know that if the exterior is what matters, be prepared to figure that out. And then when you go inside and shoot the interiors, it is what it is. It's the same way I am on our dirt moving sites. Like, I know the shots. I've been doing it for the same company for a long time. I know the shots they're looking for. So typically what I do is I get there and I knock those out, and I consider that like my warm up. Like, I know these shots they're going to be happy with, and I know that as long as I get those, I'm good to go, and call that your warm up. And then by the time you've knocked some of those out, then you're kind of feeling it and the juices are flowing and your creativeness is coming in, and then you're starting to feel the environment and what's different than the last place you are, and you're kind of connecting the dots, and then you can be more creative, and then you can take the shots that you're proud of, whether they get used or not. Last one. This is the one I'm the most passionate about right now. Don't turn everything into a fight. If you're working in a corporate environment as a creative, it can be a little, I don't even know what word to use. It can be a little challenging at times. The way your brain works isn't the same way the people that are giving you direction necessarily works. And it's a lot easier to get people to work with you if you're not constantly telling them why they're wrong. If someone who's like, in my case, like a VP of building construction is telling me what they like in photographs, it can be frustrating because they don't care sometimes that you were there at the perfect lighting and your compositions are on point and all your angles are straight or lines, horizons, everything, you know what I mean? Like geometrically, your photos are perfect. To them, what they care about is whether you got the detail that means something to them. So having those conversations, swallowing your pride a little bit and knowing that you might be shooting pictures of a countertop that isn't beautiful to you, but it's what means something to them. Don't fight with them about that kind of stuff. Like, it won't get you anywhere in the long run. One of the people that used to run my company said something, I don't want to butcher the quote, this may not be exact, but your reputation is the hardest thing to get and it's the easiest thing to lose. So you have to protect it with everything. And to me, that kind of sums this up. If you're the guy that always argues, or girl, if you're the guy or girl that's always giving people a hard time, people aren't going to want to work with you. And then when you have ideas and bring ideas to the table, they may not listen to you because you've thrown everything out that they've had because you think you know their creative process and photography or whatever part of the creative industry you're in. Understand the job you're doing isn't going to always be the most creative. And that's okay. It's paying your bills, right? And that's why you took this job. Do your best and do the creative stuff. Just make sure you're checking all the boxes. Make sure you're easy to work with. Make sure you're someone that people want to come to when they have an idea and that you're someone that people want to come to when something needs to get done. Work hard, stay at it, and don't take no shit from nobody. All right. So thank you for watching this one. I'm sure this video isn't going to perform on YouTube. There's not, a big market for this, but it's something that I feel like I actually know something about. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And also, if you made it this far, you must actually give a shit what I'm saying. So I made something. Stay Crusty stickers. If you made it this far in this video, you must actually be some sort of a fan. And I'd like to send you a sticker. So get at me on Instagram. I think that's probably the easiest way. Send me a message on Instagram. I'll mail one out to you. And yeah, if you put it somewhere, send me a photo of it. If you don't put it somewhere, that's cool too. Cherish that motherfucker. So thanks. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay crusty.